Luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. The viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy over claims that some of the most iconic designer bags are actually born in the East.
A lot of requests, do Hermes next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
Made in China. Or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way.
What if the high-end luxury bags you've been saving up for, those iconic Birkin bags priced anywhere between $30,000 and $150,000, were actually made in a factory far from the chic streets of Paris? What if the craftsmanship you assumed was exclusive to the heart of France was, in fact, done by workers in China, for a fraction of the price? This is the shocking claim that has recently gone viral, after a group of Chinese manufacturers exposed what's really happening behind the scenes at Hermes.
I've spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
The luxury fashion giant, known for its elegance and exclusivity, is now facing accusations of fraud. And the twist? The exposure comes from the very manufacturers Hermes worked with. So what's the real story here, and why are consumers suddenly suing one of the most prestigious brands in the world? Let's start with the revelation that has everyone talking. According to several Chinese manufacturers, Hermes has been sourcing a significant portion of its luxury bags from Chinese factories. The claim? A large number of Hermes Birkin bags, along with other high-end accessories, are produced in China, not France. Now, don't get it twisted, these bags are being labeled as made in France, but what happens is a bit more complicated. According to these manufacturers, the bags are primarily manufactured in China, with only minimal finishing touches done in Hermes French ateliers. And here's the kicker. This process is not a small part of their operations. It's suggested that as much as 80% of the production happens in China. The rest, the French finishing, is little more than a final assembly. And it's all done for a fraction of the cost.
So Hermes has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
She put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
Imagine for a moment that $30,000 Birkin bag that you've dreamed about owning for years. It's been claimed that it could be made in a factory for less than $1,400, which is just a fraction of the price you paid for it. How does that make you feel? But wait, this revelation didn't just come from a disgruntled worker or a conspiracy theorist. These claims were backed up by TikTok videos from the manufacturers themselves. And when this went viral, the world was left stunned. As you can imagine, Hermes was not pleased when these allegations went public. Company, known for its exclusivity and premium pricing, wasted no time fighting back. Already, Hermes has filed multiple lawsuits against the manufacturers, accusing them of defamation and intellectual property theft.
Birkin, am I right? Yeah. I couldn't even be mad at her because when I asked her, I was like, I wanted to see if she was gonna tell me the truth. I was like, Coach, did you draw mommy's purse?
Literally spent $60,000 on this purse. Look what my daughter did to my...
Company argues that these claims are false and damaging to its reputation. They vehemently denied that their bags are mass-produced in China, with the luxury brand sticking to its claim that Hermes bags are crafted in France by skilled artisans. Hermes' legal team is not pulling punches. They claim that these manufacturers are misusing the Hermes name and intellectual property to sell their own products under the guise of luxury craftsmanship. The fashion house argues that these manufacturers are misleading consumers into believing their bags are made entirely in China. However, critics of Hermes are raising questions about how much they knew about the outsourcing practices and whether they've been more complicit in this manufacturing process than they're letting on. The legal implications are huge, not just for Hermes but for the luxury industry as a whole. And here's where it gets more complex. If the allegations hold any weight, Hermes could be facing a significant legal and financial hit. Legal experts believe that this could lead to class action lawsuits from consumers, with millions of dollars in potential damages. And this could be the beginning of more luxury brands being exposed for similar practices. Now, let's get to the real drama, the consumers. After all, they're the ones who are really feeling the heat from this scandal. Imagine spending years saving up for a coveted Birkin bag. It's a symbol of status, a sign that you've made it. You purchase it not just for its elegance, but for the belief that it's handcrafted in France, made by skilled artisans using the finest materials.
My house is on fire. I would take this one out of all of them.
Now, thanks to the allegations, many feel that they've been taken for a ride. Customers are furious. In fact, some have already begun filing lawsuits against Hermes, claiming fraud. These consumers argue that they were misled into buying a product they thought was exclusively French-made, only to learn it might have been mass-produced elsewhere for a fraction of the cost. One consumer, who purchased a Birkin bag for $42,000, said, "I feel completely betrayed. I paid for luxury, and now I'm finding out that it might not even be what I thought it was. If I had known, I never would have spent that much money." Beyond the lawsuits, there's an emotional backlash. People who have been loyal to Hermes for years are now questioning their purchases. They're wondering whether they were duped into paying far more than they should have for something that could have been produced much cheaper in a different part of the world. The scandal has also led to a bigger discussion about the ethics of the luxury fashion industry. Can consumers still trust brands like Hermes to deliver true luxury? Or is this just another case of a high-end label cutting corners to maximize profits? As more details emerge, the backlash grows louder. Consumers are not just angry, they're now questioning the legitimacy of the entire luxury fashion market. Many are starting to wonder, if Hermes can get away with this, who else is doing it? Is it possible that other luxury brands are following the same path, using outsourcing to lower their production costs while keeping the made and label intact? Other customers are demanding transparency. In fact, a petition has already been launched, calling on Hermes and other luxury brands to disclose their full supply chain. They're urging these brands to prove that their products are being made in the countries they claim. Petition, which has gained significant traction online, reflects a shift in consumer attitudes towards luxury goods. The luxury market may never be the same. And it's not just the consumer backlash that Hermes has to worry about. Media outlets have been quick to pick up on the story, with headlines questioning the authenticity of the brand's claims. The exposure is widespread, and it's clear that Hermes is facing an uphill battle in restoring its tarnished image. This scandal isn't just about Hermes, sending shockwaves through the luxury fashion industry as a whole. If these allegations hold any truth, they could lead to major changes in how the entire sector operates. Luxury brands, which have traditionally relied on the aura of exclusivity and high-quality craftsmanship, are now under pressure to be more transparent about their manufacturing processes. Could this lead to a wider trend of fast luxury, where brands outsource production to cheaper countries to meet the demand for high-end products while still charging premium prices? Already, the public is calling for brands to be more transparent about where and how their products are made. Consumers want to know more than just the country of origin. They want to know the exact factories, the working conditions, and the materials used. And this demand for transparency is only going to grow as consumers become more aware of these industry practices. Will Hermes be the exception, or will this scandal open the floodgates for more brands to come under scrutiny? Only time will tell. This controversy also highlights a much larger issue: the globalization of manufacturing and its ethical implications. Luxury brands for years have built their reputations on the idea of exclusivity and craftsmanship. But with global supply chains, brands have been outsourcing to countries with cheaper labor and materials. While this makes financial sense, it raises ethical questions. Should a luxury product that is marketed as exclusive really be produced in factories that churn out mass-produced goods for the global market? These revelations also point to a larger shift in how consumers view made in labels. In a world where every brand seems to be globalizing its supply chain, will Made in France or Made in Italy still carry the weight they once did? Or will consumers demand that brands prove their claims and maintain transparency in how their products are made? So, what does this all mean for Hermes, for consumers, and for the future of luxury goods? Does the knowledge of where a product is made change its value in your eyes? Is it about the craftsmanship or the brand? Does this expose fraudulent practices? Or is Hermes just another brand caught in a complex web of global manufacturing? The game is changing, and consumers are starting to demand answers. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.